Hello everyone, thanks for checking out my video. It's Goose coming at you with a guide on Flux nodes and how you can upgrade from one tier to another. So if you're looking to move from a CUMULUS node to a NIMBUS node, we got you covered. Stay tuned. So upgrading your Flux node is pretty simple. There's really only three major steps here. The first one is to properly stake the collateral for that particular node. And you would do that the exact same way as you did for the first node, right? You send yourself the exact amount of Flux that you want for whichever node tier you're in. After that, then you can go over to the app section and click on Flux nodes, and you should see a line there that recognizes you have a certain amount staked for whichever node tier. You can click on that and gain access to your transaction output ID. We're going to need that for the back end. So the way we would update that is by using PuTTY, or if you're on Linux, you use SSH to log into your Linux portion of your Flux node, and then you run the Multitoolbox Script and update the daemon so that you put the new transaction ID in there. Okay, and that all assumes, of course, that you're trying to upgrade on the same exact hardware. If you're running on new hardware altogether, then the best video to watch would be the node setup guide, because you're starting from scratch. So just follow those steps and it'll be soup to nuts, everything you need to do. Otherwise, if you're upgrading on existing hardware and your hardware meets the minimum specs required as far as benchmarking goes, well then you're good to go. Stake your collateral, update your transaction output ID, and restart the node. That's simple. Let's get started. In your Zelcore wallet, I'm going to assume that you want to use your existing collateral towards the next tier. So I'm going to show you how you can unlock that collateral right now. If you open up the actual wallet, you'll notice that on the top left-hand side, right under the amount, it says locked in Flux nodes. And in this case, I have 10,000 Flux for the CUMULUS node. Well, I can't spend that right now. So how do I unlock it so I can spend it and combine it into the larger transaction that I need in order to move to the next tier? Well, it's very simple. Just click on the apps button on the left-hand side and then click on Flux nodes. And from here, you can click on the little down arrow and just click on delete. You can confirm it. All right, now that has been deleted. If we go back to our wallet, open up our Flux wallet, and now in the wallet you can see there's no more line here that says locked in Flux nodes. That means that this full amount here is unlocked and I can send it to myself or anywhere else for that matter. So let's say I had the additional balance also in this wallet. Well, now I can send it all as one transaction. The only thing is it's kind of tricky to send one transaction to the same wallet address. So what you'll have to do is click on send and just pick one of your other addresses that you would send to. Now you can run a node. Let's say if I go to the node's address here, you can run a node on any one of these Flux wallets. It doesn't matter which one. If you like to have them all in the same place, then send it to one of the other addresses, and then from the other address, send it back as the exact amount. After you've staked your new collateral amount, then just go back over here to the apps icon and click on Flux nodes. And what this will do is search for your transaction ID. And once it finds it, then it will automatically put the node in for you. And once again, all you have to do is click on the little down arrow here, and you can keep track of your confirmations. So make sure that you get more than 100 confirmations before you try to start the new node. And from here also, you can click on the edit button and have access to your private key, your collateral transaction ID, and your output index. We're going to use those in the next step where we log into our node and reconfigure the daemon. The next step is to log into your Flux node, and you can use PuTTY if you're on Windows, or I'm just using SSH here on Linux. And once you're in there, you're going to want to use the Multitoolbox Script. So I'll leave the command that you would type in down in the description where you can just copy and paste it, all right? And this is the command. Put that whole command in, hit enter. And what we're going to do is a simple Flux daemon reconfiguration, which is number 9. So go ahead and hit number 9, and then enter. All right, and it says to fill in all the fields that you want to replace. All right, so right here, we're going to go back to our Flux Node app and pull all of the information, just like we did when we were setting it up originally. So here's our private key. I'm going to select that and paste it and hit OK. And then enter your Flux Node output transaction ID. Once again, back in Zelcore, that will be the Collateral transaction ID. Click that and flip back over. Paste that there. OK. And then enter your Flux Node output index. So one more time, we'll jump over here. And the output index is 0. So just enter a 0 here and go to OK. Now it'll stop the daemon service and restart it with the new configuration. In the meantime, you can go to a browser and pull up your Flux front end and just check the status right there. Mine is currently checking status, and that's because the daemon is in the process of restarting. And if your daemon has been reconfigured to the new address, then it's normal that you should see a status like this. Flux is not confirmed. Flux is running with limited capabilities. So it's not confirmed because you have not yet started it. So you have to wait until you reach 100 confirmations on your new collateral, and then you go back into the Flux Nodes app in Zelcore and start your node. Also good to do before you start your node is to check your benchmarking status. So you can go over here to the left-hand side, click on benchmark, and then go to the benchmarks and get status. And if the daemon just restarted, then the benchmarks are also in the process of running. So give that a few minutes to make sure that your node has all the right specifications and actually spits out the correct tier before you try to start it. Back here on Zelcore, one last thing you'll want to do is name your node. This way, you'll get little notifications if there is a problem with that node. Click on Save, and we are good to go. Now, all we have to do is wait for our 100 confirmations. As soon as we receive 100 confirmations, when we click here, there will be a little Start button down in the bottom left-hand corner. Then click the Start button, click Start Node, and you're off to the races. So that's how you do an in-place upgrade of your Flux node from one tier to another. So if you're going from a CUMULUS node to a NIMBUS node, as long as your hardware meets the minimum requirements for the benchmarking and you get that NIMBUS rating, then you're good to go with this guide. Otherwise, you're going to have to upgrade your hardware, and you may have to reinstall from scratch. And if that's the case, we have a guide for that. So check us out at runonflux.io, and you can learn more about that. I also have a video. I'll leave a link down in the description. For everyone else, hope this was helpful. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up. Hit subscribe and make sure that you share this video with anybody who's curious about how to upgrade their node from one tier to another. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Peace.